China, 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 China. Prior to the plague coming in from China.
China.
China,
China.
China,
China.
China,
China.
China,
China.
China, China, China,
China. China. China.
China,
China.
China,
China. China.
China, China, Chinatown, China. It's China's fault. It's China's fault. Yeah,
China.
you know,
Chinese. China. China. There's
China.
money. China. China. China.
China, China, China,
China.
China,
China. 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 China.
China.
Okay, welcome to a very special episode of the Two Shot Factor. Trump versus Biden, the rematch. This was a great debate. Maybe not as violent and unpredictable as the first match, but that's often how rematches work.
Each candidate will have 2 minutes uninterrupted to answer my first question. The debate commission will then turn on their microphone only when it is their turn to answer, and the commission will turn it off exactly when the 2 minutes have expired.
So now they're going to shut off microphones after the 2 minutes is up. They learned from last time.
My people, great people, beautiful health care. That's obvious. We're going to give you a court case. You need Perry Mason. Nobody has done what I've done. I've already done something that nobody thought was possible. And I was right.
What did the president say? Inject bleach. It's his ineptitude that caused the country to have to shut down Biden-care. I will take care of this. You're sitting at the kitchen table this morning deciding, well, we can't get new tires, they're bald, because we have to wait another month or so. Or are we going to be able to pay the mortgage? Or who's going to tell her she can't go back to community college? They're the decisions you're making in the middle-class families like I grew up in Scranton and Claymont.
I want to
Typical
talk about
statement.
North Korea.
Excuse me,
in
that's
10
a
seconds.
typical political statement. Let's get off this China thing, and then he looks, the family, around the table, everything. Just a typical politician when I see that.
Let's talk about
I'm not
North
a typical
Korea now.
politician.
Okay,
That's why I got elected.
Very
Your response.
confused guy. He thinks he's running against somebody else. He's running against Joe Biden. I beat all those other people because I disagreed with them. Joe Biden he's running against.
He's running against Joe Biden with a 252-37 record since 1931.
I don't see red states and blue states. What I see is American, United States.
Let's take a look at the stutters and mumblings of Joe Biden.
They had to be part of the deal because here's the I made it clear, and as a spokesperson of the administration, just in the last three years, after the crime bill had been in the Rio Grande River, and it's illegal. Cities to the gas. Excuse me. The answer. We need other industries.
It's like Jimmy. I'm Joe Biden. Wow, what a great audience.
Why have you not pushed the Democrats to get a deal for the American people?
Well, I have, and they have pushed it. Look, they passed this act all the way back in the beginning of the summer. This is like it's not new. It's been out there. This HEROES Act has been sitting there. And look at what's happening. When I was in charge of the Recovery Act with $800 billion.
Biden's just freaking out over that one-time hard question that the moderator asked him. Can we get a graphic or some kind of effects with steam shooting out of his ears or like the red cartoonish effects?
This is like it's not new. It's been out there. When I was in charge of the Recovery Act with $800 billion all the way back in the beginning of the summer. Come on. What's the matter with these guys?
The bill that was passed in the House was a bailout of badly run, high crime, Democrat, all run by Democrats, cities and states. I am the least racist person in this room.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history.
You made a reference to Abraham Lincoln. Where did that come in? I mean,
You said
where
you're
did that-
Abraham Lincoln.
No, where did that? No.
You said-
I said not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community.
And I'm saying-
I didn't say I'm Abraham Lincoln. Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. And if you look, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, possible exception. First time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
Boy, I know you're gonna like your present.
Shut up! Kiss my butt! Shut up!
Go to hell.
Dad, I promise you I will never get tired of this.
I love solar, but solar doesn't quite have it yet. It's not powerful yet to really run our big, beautiful factories that we need. I know more about wind than you do. It's extremely expensive, kills all the birds, it's very intermittent, He's got a lot of problems,
All right.
and he doesn't come from Scranton. That's like he lived there for a short period of time before he even knew it.
We're going to move on to
and
the
he
next
left.
question.
And the people of Pennsylvania
Let me
will
move
show
on
you
to my
that.
next question.
And I think we're going to win the House, okay? You'll see, but I think we're going to win the House. Russia, Ukraine, China, other countries, Iraq. If this is true, then he's a corrupt politician.
All right.
So don't give me the stuff about how you're this innocent baby. They want to take buildings down because they want to make bigger windows into smaller windows. They want to knock down buildings and build new buildings with little, tiny, small windows.
I love how Biden didn't say, here's the deal, other than once. He learned from watching my video last time.
Here's the deal.
Now his new thing is, come on.
All you teachers out there, not that many of you are going to die, so don't worry about it. So don't worry about it. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Come on, Joe, you can do better.
We're going to talk about.
As Biden licks his lips demonically.
When you do that, these small businesses,
The firstborn child will be sacrificed.
Joe Biden is going to terminate all of those policies. These are people that love their health care because Obamacare is no good. We have a vaccine that's coming. It's ready. Operation Warp Speed.
Operation Warp Speed, regenerated, although he's still younger than I am.
And now they say I'm immune. Whether it's 4 months or a lifetime, nobody's been able to say that, but I'm immune. All over the world.
We could save 100,000 lives. I'm encouraged to wear a mask all the time.
I like how Biden switches the mask from hand to hand there. Did you notice that? Kind of like David Copperfield. Ooh, you will wear this mask.
He's refused to support that money, or at least up to now.
Let's talk about schools. President
Well,
Trump,
I
you,
think we have to respond, if I might.
please, and then I have a follow-up.
Thank you, and I appreciate that.
Trump's weaknesses of interrupting in the first one were far more controlled in this one.
Boston became the latest city to move its public school system entirely online after a coronavirus spike.
Spikes.
What is your message to parents who worry that sending their children to school will endanger not only their kids, but also their teachers and families?
I want to open the schools. The transmittal rate to the teachers is very small. We can't keep this country closed. This is a massive country with a massive economy. People are losing their jobs. They're committing suicide. There's depression, alcohol, drugs at a level that nobody's ever seen before.
If you have a restaurant, you need to have plexiglass dividers so people cannot infect one another.
Putting a plexiglass is unbelievably expensive. I mean, you're going to sit there in a cubicle wrapped around with plastic.
How expensive is plexiglass? Can we?
Businesses that are dying, Joe, you can't do that to people. They're shut down so tight, and they're dying. They're dying.
How to open up schools and open up businesses so they can be safe.
Doesn't he say earlier that he didn't want to open up schools and businesses?
Do not open, do not open, do not open.
We can't close up our nation. We have to open our school. Nancy Pelosi said the same thing. She was dancing on the streets in Chinatown in San Francisco.
Dancing in the streets of Chinatown? Can we get a clip of that?
We can't lock ourselves up in a basement like Joe does. He has the ability to lock himself up. I don't know. He's obviously made a lot of money someplace.
Living in a basement? What? I know, that is hilarious.
But he has this thing about living in a basement. People can't do that. By the way, I, as the president, couldn't do that. I'd love to put myself in the basement. I do love the environment, but what I want is the cleanest, crystal clear water, the cleanest air. We have the best, lowest number in carbon emissions.
Trump may not be the biggest expert on climate change. He talks about clean air, clean water, carbon emissions like it was just some memo note. And then on to more about China.
Look at China, how filthy it is. Look at Russia. Look at India. It's filthy.
On occasion, you do see Trump going over the 30-second or 10-second response time, and I think that's what Kirsten Welker bases her treatment of him on and allows Biden to still continue talking about past tense. Well, still, I do think that's not entirely fair, and it does point towards favoritism.
All right, let's talk about North Korea.
Excuse me, no, I have to
Yes.
respond to that.
Okay.
Listen to this. 183, and they gave him a $3 million upfront payment.
All right.
And he had no energy
I'm going to let the Vice President
That's
respond to that quickly,
100%
and then I need to.
Everybody investigated that. No one said anything he did was wrong in Ukraine.
They're like a vacuum cleaner. They're sucking
Okay,
up money every
President Trump,
place he
thank you.
goes.
We do need
Not
to
true.
move on.
Steel industry. We were not going to have a steel industry.
Okay.
And now we have a steel
Okay,
industry.
Vice President Biden.
He didn't like Obama. He wouldn't do it.
Okay, I
know
got to
for
give him a
fact they
chance to
tried.
respond to that
Good
because
thing.
we have a lot of questions to get
Yes,
to.
not
That's
Your
like
response.
saying we had a good relationship with Hitler before he, in fact, invaded Europe.
Trump, you've met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
Different kind of a guy, but he probably thinks the same thing about me. We have a different kind of a relationship. We have a very good relationship, and there's no war.
The reason he would not meet with President Obama is because President Obama said, we're going to talk about denuclearization.
All right,
And it didn't
move
happen.
on. Let's
Excuse
move on
me,
and talk.
left me a mess. North Korea was a mess.
We
and
need
in fact,
to
if
move on
you
so that
remember
we
the
can get
first
to
2
all
or
of our
3
other
months,
questions tonight,
there was a
President
very
Trump.
dangerous period in my first 3 months before we sort of worked things out a little.
The fact, I still have a few more minutes. I know you're getting anxious. The idea that Donald Trump is lecturing me on Social Security and Medicare? Come on.
He tried to get
10
rid of
seconds,
He
Mr.
tried to
President,
hurt
and then I
Social
have-
Security.
He keeps talking about it. He hasn't done a thing for anybody on health care.
All right, let's move on. I'm going to move on. Let me,
Mr.
Mr. President, I have to move on to the next question.
They said
or
the
else
stock
we're not
market
going to have
will
time
boom.
to talk
May I respond?
very quickly.
Look, the idea that the stock market is booming is his only measure of what's happening. Where I come from in Scranton and Claymont, the people don't live off of the stock market.
Let's talk about what's happening on
401ks,
Capitol Hill. We're going
Kristen,
to
You notice how, like, honestly, she cuts Trump off numerous times, whether he's over a little bit or not. But even if Biden still talks on the same issue, she lets him go. She gives him the green light over and over again. And after a while, if you pay attention, it's just blatantly obvious, and she becomes like the chief bad guy.
By the way, so far, I respect very much the way you're handling this, I have to say.
By the way-
But somebody should ask the question.
You can ask
He goes for a year. There will be
we
no
have
fracking. There
we
will
do
be
have
no
a number of
petroleum.
topics we're
No,
going
but
to get
that's a
to.
big- that's a big question.
And we're going to get to
It's
It's the same thing with socialized
I have to
medicine.
respond.
Vice President, your response, please.
My response is people deserve to have.
We beat Hillary Clinton with a tiny fraction of the money that she was able
All right,
to.
gentlemen, we're
But
going to
don't
move
tell me
on.
about Wall
Average
Street.
We're gonna-
contribution, $43.
All right, Mr. Vice President,
You
let
know, the Republican leader in the United States Senate said he can't pass it.
By raising the minimum wage, that's not helping. I think it should be a state option. Alabama is different than New York. New York is different from Vermont. Every state is different. In other places, other states, $15 would
Okay,
be
President
ruinous.
Trump, thank you.
But those with the lowest IQ, they might come back.
Okay,
But they're
President
very,
Trump, let's
very
give
few.
Vice President
Take a look
President
at the
Trump, I
laptop
want to
from
stay
hell.
on the issue
Excuse
of
me,
race. We're
take a look
talking
at
about
the
the issue.
laptop from hell.
President Trump, we're
Nobody-
talking about race right now, and I do want to stay on the issue of race. President Trump,
And I
you've
have
just
to respond to that.
Please,
Because look,
very
there
quickly.
are 50 former.
What about fracking?
All right,
now,
let me
now we
let me
have to
have
ask
let
him
me
about
allow
fracking.
Vice President
I
Biden to
have
respond.
never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did. Show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on.
Never
President
to
Trump,
deal with
let me
Senate.
let me
By the
ask
way,
my question to you.
But
and
could I
then
just
we'll-
one thing?
Very quickly.
His son didn't have a job for a long time.
Can I just one thing very quickly? Okay, it's like she's asking the teacher. It's like he's asking the teacher, "Teacher, I'm going through puberty." Biden, though, he just continues to laugh so much, and even when he's not laughing, he looks like he's holding in a big fart.
Look, all he does is talk about shutdowns. But forget about him. His Democrat guy. But when I close, and frankly, he has the him. His Democrat governors. This is not going to be a problem. It's been like a prison, and I want to do it. And I think.
Let me just ask some questions.
Bernie Sanders tried it in his state. He tried
Go to
security
another
years
question.
ago. Years ago, I ran, which put.
Oh God.
Look, their real plan, the craziest plan. It's $100 trillion. Remember
Vice President Biden.
Massive bureau between the sanctions, he won't even have a choice badly. Just
the-
take a look at what's happening out there. But he has this thing about living in a basement. People can't do that. By the way, tens of millions of dollars I prepaid. Catch and release is a disaster. Total disaster. It was a total disaster. His plan is an economic disaster.
President Trump, this week you called Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's best-known infectious disease expert, quote, a disaster. You described him and other medical experts as, quote, idiots.
I'm listening to all of them, including Anthony. I get along very well with Anthony. He did say, as you know, this is not going to be a problem. I think he's a Democrat, but that's okay. We can't let that happen, Joe. We have to protect, especially our seniors with heart problems and diabetes problems. We have the best testing in the world by far. That's why we have so many cases. And we're doing record numbers, 11.4 million jobs. We had the best black unemployment numbers in the history of our country. Everybody had the best numbers. We're going to have the greatest economy in the world. The greatest economy in the world in order to fight this horrible disease that came from China.
The best testing, the best.
Started off his campaign coming down the escalator saying he's going to get rid of those Mexican rapists.
A murderer would come in, a rapist would come in.
Goes back to the Mexican classes. You just can't stop a good thing.
People that come into our country illegally. We were going to take care of everything for them. We're over 400 miles of brand new wall. You see the numbers, and we let people in, but they have to come in legally, and they come in through
But
merit.
how will you
But let
reunite
me
these
just tell
kids
you,
with?
and it was a picture of these horrible cages, and they said, look at these cages. President Trump built them, and then it was determined they were built in 2014. That was him.
Do you
They
have a
built
plan to
cages.
reunite the kids
Yes,
with
we're
their
working on it
families?
we're trying very hard.
We
changed.
did not
They built the
separate the
cages.
they-
Who built the cages, Joe?
Let's talk about what
Who
we're
built the
talking about.
cages,
Let's
Joe?
talk about.
Who built the cages? I'd love you to ask him that. Who built the cages?
Let me
Joe?
ask about.
He did nothing except build cages to keep children in.
Firstborn child will be sacrificed.
He has no understanding of immigration or the laws.
What is happening with his buddy, well, I shouldn't, well, I will. His buddy, Rudy Giuliani, he's being used as a Russian pawn because they know I know them and they know me.
They know I know them and they know me. That's like, now they know that we know that they know that we know. What movie is that from anyway?
Now they know that we know that they know that we know. Yes, it does matter. You did it, but they're gonna suspect me.
Joe got $3.5 million from Russia, and it came through Putin because he was very friendly with it was the mayor of Moscow's wife.
Alina Bachurina, the wife of former mayor of Moscow. Let's take a look at that.
Элина Батурина приехала в Москву, чтобы ее жестко трахнули в жопу и цел.
While he was selling pillows and sheets, I sold tank busters to Ukraine. There has been nobody tougher on Russia than Donald Trump. All of the emails, the horrible emails of the kind of money that you were raking in, you and your family. And Joe, you were vice president when some of this was happening.
I have not taken a single penny from any country whatsoever, ever. He's talked about his good buddy who's a thug. He embraces guys like the thugs like in North Korea and the Chinese president and Putin and others.
$6,500 will be taken away from families under his plan.
50,000, 50,000.
28 billion.
700 billion more dollars.
Billions and billions of dollars, paying billions and billions of dollars.
$1 trillion more in economic growth.
$100 trillion. $100 trillion. That's their real number.
He didn't want to tell us because he didn't want us to panic. He didn't want us, Americans don't panic.
In Texas, there are families who worry the plants near them are making them sick.
I used to live near that when I was growing up in Claymont, Delaware.
The moderator, Kristen Welker. Any relation to Frank Welker, the voice of Megatron?
Tonight, more than 12 million people are out of work, and as of tonight, 8 million more Americans have fallen into poverty, and more families are going hungry every day. Mr. President, why haven't you been able to get them the help they need? 30 seconds here.
Because Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve it. I do.
But you're the president.
I do, but I still have to get. Unfortunately, that's one of the reasons I think we're going to take over the House because of her.
They should be going to rehabilitation, not to jail. We should fundamentally change the system, and that's what I'm going to do.
But why didn't he do it 4 years ago? Why didn't you do that 4 years ago, even less than that? Why didn't you do it? You were vice president. You keep talking about all these things you're going to do, and you're going to do this. But you were there just a short time ago, and you guys did nothing. Why didn't you do it? See, it's all talk, no action with these politicians. Everything that he said about the way every single move that he said we should make, that's what we've done.
We ought to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. You have not released a single solitary year of your tax return. What are you hiding? Why are you unwilling? Russia's paying you a lot. China's paying you a lot.
I prepaid my tax. Nobody told me that.
Did your accountant
Nobody
tell you
told
when
you
you
that.
could release
Excuse
them?
me. Millions and millions of dollars in taxes. I don't make money from China. You do. I don't make money from Ukraine. You do. To the big man. You're the big man, I think. I don't know. Maybe you're not. But you're the big man, I think. Your son said we have to give 10% to the big man. Joe, what's that all about? It's terrible.
All right, gentlemen, I want to ask you both to release
I
the
get
American
treated
people.
worse than the Tea Party got treated. Because
you
I have a
don't
lot
have
of
the
people in there, deep down in the IRS, they treat me horribly. I get treated very badly by the IRS, very unfairly.
The IRS treats them so badly. They're like some bullies that'll just never stop. They treat me so unfairly, so badly. Michael Pence, can you help me out on this one?
I have paid millions and millions of dollars.
Show us. Just show us. Stop playing around. You've been saying for 4 years you're going to release your taxes.
They spied on my campaign. I mean, your brother made money in Iraq, millions of dollars. Your other brother made a fortune, and it's all through you, Joe. And they say you get some of it, and you do live very well. You have houses all over the place. You live very well.
All right, gentlemen.
I was thinking about doing a deal in China, like millions of other people, not to do it. Had an account open, and I closed it.
Okay.
Excuse me. And then, unlike him, where he's vice president,
Taxpayers'
China,
money.
It's what?
Taxpayers' money. Didn't come from
yeah,
China.
you know who the taxpayer is? It's called China.
President
Excuse
Trump,
me, he was
your
there
response.
for 47 years. He didn't do it. He was now there as not like it was 25 years ago. It was 3 3/4. It was just a little while ago, right? I could raise so much more money as president and as somebody that knows most of those people. I could call the heads of Wall Street, the heads of every company in America. I would blow away every record, but I don't want to do that because it puts me in a bad position. And then you bring up Wall Street. You shouldn't be bringing up Wall Street because you're the one that takes the money from Wall Street, not me. I could blow away your records that like you wouldn't believe. We don't need money. We have plenty of money.
Okay, I got to wrap things up, though. I got to get out of here. Subscribe, like, boom, boom, boom. The greatest economy in the world. The greatest economy. The greatest economy in the world.